so I'm super excited today because we get to make pear honey. And I'm sure some of you are like, well, what in the world is pear honey? Well, this is pear honey. It's basically pear jelly, but you don't use honey, you use sugar. But anyway, so it's basically like pear jelly. You just use it the same way you would jelly. It's delicious over vanilla ice cream, but you just like put it on toast and bagels and stuff. It's so good. But anyway, the reason we're making it is because we have an orchard full of pear trees. We're gonna make some today because we don't want them to go to waste because they are delicious. And so we're gonna make some pear honey today, but first we've gotta go get the pears. So to start making pear honey, you simply need to rinse off your pears to get any dirt or anything that might be on them so that it doesn't get in your delicious pear honey. So grab that peeler and start peeling that pear. Now this is definitely one of the longest and hardest parts about making pear honey, but you just gotta do it. So once you've peeled it, go ahead and grab a knife and start cutting it up. And obviously you just gotta give some to your sister. Just cut it up. It doesn't really matter how big the chunks are, just cut it, get it off the core. The easiest way to do this is to get an amazing apple peeler from the Pampered Chef like we have here. You can also find them at Agri Supply. And they do it super fast, but the only downside is that sometimes it's hard to get them situated, but it's super labor saving time because it does it super fast. Once you've got enough pears to fill up a food processor, go ahead and put them in there with a very generous squirt of lemon juice and put the lid on and blend them up very well. Now I like to pulse them a little bit to make sure you get at everything and get them in very tiny bits because that's how they're going to be when they go in the pear honey. You can also do this with a cheese grater, but it's going to take a lot longer, so if you have a lot, then just go ahead and do a food processor. Take the lid and the blade out of the food processor and dump all of the chopped pears into a big bowl. Once you've collected 9 cups of pears, dump them in a big, large stainless steel pot. Next, grab the sugar and measure out 6 cups of sugar for every 9 cups of pears. Now, I would use no more than 6 cups. You could do like 4 to 6 cups is what we usually do. But the recipe that we used called for 8 cups of sugar for 9 cups of pears, but we found that was far too much, so we cut it down to 4 to 6 cups, and that is a plenty. Next, put 1 16-ounce can of crushed pineapple into the pear mixture. Mix that in really well and start cooking the pears. Turn the heat on high at first and stir it continuously to avoid scorching. And then, once it starts to boil, put it on medium to medium-low and stir every few minutes. Then, once the pears are a golden color like honey, that'll take about 2 to 3 hours, and once they're done, turn it on low until you're ready to can them. Next, get a large enamel stock pot full of water and get it start to boil. Then put your canning jars in and put a separate pot with lids and rings. This is our canning set, and if you don't have one of these, it makes canning much easier. It's got tongs for grabbing the jars, a little funnel to funnel the pear honey in, and a little magnetic thing to grab the lids and rings out of the boiling water. To start canning, grab the jars with your jar grabber out of the boiling water. Place the funnel in the jars to funnel the pear honey in. Grab some pear honey and pour it in the jar and leave 1/2 inch of headspace in the jar. Using a clean cloth, wipe the rim of the jar and make sure that there is nothing on it to make sure that it has a tight seal. Use your magnetic stick to grab a lid for the jar out of the boiling water. Gently place it on top of the jar and press down with your fingers to make sure it has a very, very tight seal. Also use your magnetic stick to grab a ring out of the boiling water and very, very tightly screw it on the jar. So keep repeating this process until you have canned all of the jars of pear honey, and I find it quite enjoyable, so I think you will too.